Finally, Drag Me to Hell. I saw this yesterday. Sam Raimi's much demanded return to horror. Sam Raimi stopped with the Evil Dead trilogy with Army of Darkness back in the early 90s. Since then he did other films and such, but then of course he became an insanely huge director with the Spider-Man trilogy, and of course he is directing Spider-Man 4, which is to come out in May of 2011. Well, everyone of course has been clamoring for an Evil Dead 4. I want one really bad, but it seems like one thing or another seems to get in the way. They've talked about remaking it. I don't know if I want it remade. So, I would rather see a straightforward number 4. You know, we left him back in the present after he came back from medieval times, and, you know, let's continue from there. Originally, Ash was to fight Freddy and Jason in the much demanded Freddy vs. Jason 2. I would have liked to see it. They turned it into a 6-issue comic book, which was fantastic. It kind of gave us an idea what the movie would have been like. That's something I'll discuss in a future installment of Spider's Parlor. But in the meantime, Drag Me to Hell. First off, I love the name. Very cool name. Sam has that unique ability to blend real suspense, real terror, with slapstick, almost Three Stooges-like humor. And it's a perfect blend. Anyone that knows his films of the trilogy especially, I always think of the deer head on the wall that starts going and all that type of stuff, just cackling for no reason. And I love that. That type of humor is in fact, there are moments where you're almost waiting for one of the characters to say, "I'll swallow your soul, I'll swallow your soul," which was, of course, one of the best lines ever from the Evil Dead series. But there's a perfect blend of that in this movie, and it works. The acting is top-notch. It's very good, very solid. The writing is also very good. It has a great twist ending. I loved it. I will say this. Some of the special effects are out there. And for a PG-13 movie, which I get tired of horror films that could have been really good at R, get dumbed down to PG-13, this is one of those rare exceptions where PG-13 was fine. We still got away with a lot. Sam is definitely ahead of his time. Was back then, definitely is now. He didn't have complete control of Spider-Man 3, so you saw the results of that. It was not what it should have been. The first two were under his complete control, and it shows. So he's been promised complete control for Part 4. Much like with Drag Me to Hell, it was his vision. The only thing the studio got in the way with was the rating. But he got his vision on the screen, and I love it. And I will say that seeing this story, it's just sitting there, I felt like I was, 8 or 9 again, because when the Evil Dead movies, the first two, I hadn't seen Army of Darkness yet at this point because they hadn't come out. But Dead by Dawn, Evil Dead 2, I love that movie. That was my first Evil Dead movie, and I just, seeing Sam's work, I have such fun with it. And, the Christine, the lead actress, and her boyfriend Clay, both of them are just, or should I say fiance, both of them, great acting from them. The old gypsy woman, she was just creepy and very much out of any of his Evil Dead films. I'm not going to go into too much of the plot. You can read the reviews if you want to give it away. I'm not going to really discuss the plot. It is strong, I will say this. Some great effects. There's some cool characters, some neat surprises. And he definitely has brought back a style of horror that hasn't been seen in a while. And I'm grateful for it. Even though he's returning to the big budget world of Spider-Man 4, which I'm looking forward to because I'm hoping he'll throw in one of my favorite villains, the Lizard. It's great to see Sam back at what he does. Notice I took up more time with this review than the others. I really wanted to touch base on them and kind of talk about I did like them, blah, blah, blah. But Drag Me to Hell, second only to Watchmen this year for me. If I was to do a top 5 right now of what came out this year, I would say it's Watchmen at number 1, Drag Me to Hell at number 2, Underworld Rise of the Lycans at number 3, Star Trek number 4, and the Friday the 13th remake at number 5. But Steven says it's time to go now. So I don't want to ever keep Steven waiting. He's getting hungry. And on the next installment, I will probably be doing a retro review of something I actually own. So until next time, I'll just leave it at that. Until next time.